Now you clicked on this video because you probably saw the word Zillow. Quick warning before you open Zillow and fall in love with a house that doesn't even exist. So today what we're going to do in this video is we're going to break down Zillow's biggest gotchas in 2026. Zillow says homes are going to be more affordable here in 2026. So what are they actually saying and what are they not saying? We're going to talk about the Zestimate. I get questions about this all the time. How it's built, why it's sometimes spooky accurate, and why it's sometimes actually very comedic. And listen, stick around to the end because I'm actually going to do a little bonus section talking about as-is homes. Another question I get talked about, or that I get asked about all the time. What that label really means, when it's a steal, and when it's a money pit with great lightning. So let's go ahead. Hey guys, if you're new here, my name's Chad Dorman. I'm the local realtor right here in Columbia, South Carolina. I help people buy and sell all over the Midlands. Plus, I even have a pretty hefty referral network where I can connect you with a rock star agent basically anywhere. This video is not a Zillow hate video. Zillow is the biggest, loudest front door in online home shopping. Their own reporting has them at around 221 million average monthly unique users and about 2.1 billion visits per quarter. That's not a website. This video is actually more showing you a little bit about Zillow and telling you that you got to know I'm not an attorney, I'm not giving you legal advice, but I'm giving you the real estate, what it means so you can make smart decisions. Now, if you're wanting to get some lawyer advice, go check Gary Pickering out on Dishing with Dirt. He's one of the top podcasts here in South Carolina, is actually known nationally. And again, he's not even your lawyer in his podcast, but he has some insane knowledge out there if you like that. And if you like real estate info that's honest, fun, not sugar-coated, go ahead and hit the subscribe for me. I put out videos all the time that help you stop feeling intimidated by this process and giving you a little bit more confident feeling. Let's talk about Zillow's 2026 affordability forecast and what it really means. All right, Zillow is out here saying that 2026 will get more affordable in a chunk of the major cities that are out there. To be exact, they're saying in about 20 of the 50 biggest metros by the end of the year, it will get better. And that will, of course, spiral into a lot of the other major areas too. And cool, I want that too. But let's read the fine print just like adults. Zillow's definition of affordable isn't just principal and interest. Their benchmark is talking about, and this is the way it should be, it's talking about you shouldn't spend more than approximately 30% of your income on the mortgage and the homeowner expenses, and that all includes taxes, insurance, and maintenance as well. When someone says Zillow says homes will be more affordable, what they really mean is Zillow thinks the math may slightly improve. Now that's assuming that three big things will happen. And they very well could. It's assuming mortgage rates are going to drift to approximately 6% by the end of 2026. Now, I truly believe that mortgage rates, by everything that's happening and the way I've seen the market moving, it's going to be about 5.5 by the end of 2026, if not better, with everything that's going on. And it's also assuming that home values will grow about 1.9% nationally. Now, that's not too bad. Columbia, right here in South Carolina, forecasted Columbia is going to grow 7%. I don't think that's going to happen. It'll be more like 2 to 3%. But also it assumes that incomes across the nation will rise about 3.3%. Now that, I think that can happen too, which is a lot. Now here's the part that gets people, the down payment assumption. So Zillow's forecast is assuming that every deal you're going to put 20% down. They even acknowledge that that's a huge hurdle because on a typical home, if you take the average value of a house across the United States, that's like putting close to $70,000 down. And most people can't do that. So yes, affordability can improve on paper. But my job, whether you're buying here in Columbia or anywhere else in the nation, is making sure your affordability works in real life. That's talking about your down payment, your monthly payment, your taxes and insurance, which are going into your escrow, and your lifestyle and how much you spend on a monthly basis. Now, I get together with my lenders a lot of times, and we make sure, there's a lot of people that qualify for even, you wouldn't believe how many there is that qualify for 400, 500,000, but yet their budget is more like 300, 350. That's what you need. You do not want to be house poor. And that's the difference between a headline and a plan. If you want me, let's get on a Zoom call. I can run real life number affordability numbers for you, any buyers, sellers, or anything like that, and what you would actually pay monthly with the lender that I can set you up with, because they can even give it to you more accurate. But have all those numbers ahead of time and know exactly what's in your budget, what Zillow's saying is affordable. Now, without starting a comment war, let's talk about Zillow and other portables. Believe it or not, Zillow's not my favorite. Homes is my favorite. I love the neighborhood videos, what they do. I actually do most all my advertising through Homes. It's got a lot of the major networks. They do a sphere of influence that I put all my clients that I've ever dealt with, friends and everybody, I put them in, and it gives them a lot of my houses that go on sale. And I love the kind of advertisement and all that they do. Homes is great. Realtor's great. They do a real estimate that's from a multiple providers, just like Homes does. They do it between 4. Realtor, I think, does it between 3. Redfin's another big one too that a lot of people are looking at. But with all that said, Zillow is still the big dog by traffic. Zillow still gets as many viewers as all those other ones combined, believe it or not. And that means if you're selling, your buyers are probably scrolling through Zillow, even if you wish they weren't. So the goal isn't Zillow's bad. The goal is to understand Zillow and understand what they're doing, and that they're advertising probably more for a house if you're a seller than anybody else, and you've got a lot of buyers looking on there too. Let's talk about also some of the legal stuff that is going on with Zillow. Here's the headline and here's the impact. Now, why does Zillow feel extra spicy lately? Because there's some actual lawsuits out there. Now, I'm not going to begin to understand these lawsuits, but I just want you to know so you know what's going on with them a lot of times. There's a listing war right now between Compass and Zillow. The listing access standards fight, and it's what a lot of people call the Zillow ban. Zillow policy says if a listing is publicly marketed to consumers, it needs to be entered into the MLS within 1 business day to stay eligible for Zillow and Trulia to actually put them on their websites. And Compass, they don't like that, so they sued Zillow. Zillow says it's about consumer access. Compass argues it's seller choice. What Compass is trying to do is they are actually trying to put your listing on just their service for like a month before it goes nationally known. And Zillow said they will not list those particular properties. Now, if you're a seller, in my opinion, your property to go to as many listings as you possibly can. This is what should be done all the time. And a federal judge even denied Compass's request for a preliminary injunction, meaning that the policy stays in effect while the case continues. Now, what does it mean for you? If you're a seller, your exposure strategy matters. You can't assume every coming soon or exclusive plan will show up everywhere the same way. Right now, if you get with a listing, you put it in the MLS, it goes on Zillow, period. You can't advertise it beforehand. That's not an advantage. You want it to go to everybody straight away. And that's the way it is right now. Compass wants it different. Now, they also have FTC plus states versus Zillow plus Redfin. Now, that's a government case that's tied to alleged anti-competitive behavior in online rental advertising. I do more buying and selling. It's not renting. What does that mean for you? You may see changes over time in how rental listings and advertisings behave online. Now, also, Zillow has CoStar going against them right now. Now, CoStar sued Zillow over alleged photo copyright infringement. This one, consumer class action, is steering and RESPA allegations. There are consumer lawsuits alleging certain lead, agent, mortgage, ecosystem issues. Now, Zillow disputes those allegations. And what does that mean to you? Pay attention to how you're being routed. Who is contacting you, and whether you're talking to the listing agent or a paid advertiser. In saying all that, one of the reasons I do YouTube is so you can just contact me locally. I will give you the plus, minus to everything, and we'll talk about your situation and how any of this would affect you. If you ever feel like you're being passed around online and you just want a straight answer, give me a call. I'm available. You can get on a Zoom call. All my information's in the description below, and it is me that answers the phone. I don't answer it all the time if I'm with somebody, but I will send you a text and I'll get right back to you as soon as I can. Now let's talk about why some people just got on this video to look for it. They may have even skipped to the chapter just because they wanted to hear about this. The Zestimate. What it is, what it isn't, and how to use it like a pro. Now, the Zestimate has started more family arguments than even politics at Thanksgiving. A Zestimate is a computer estimate of market value. Now, Zillow uses public records, they use MLS data, they use user-submitted information. So homeowners can actually submit if they've added a back sunroom on there or what renovations they've had done to it in order to affect that Zestimate sum. But they rarely ever do. Zestimate includes stuff about home facts, location, and trends. Zillow literally tells you, they've got a disclaimer, and it says, this is not an appraisal. Zillow publishes accuracy stats. Where they come from, and it's Zillow that publishes them, who knows? The nationwide median error rate is roughly 1.83% for on-market homes, 7.01% for off-market homes. Now, what does that sound like in normal human language? Median means half. Half the homes are worse than that. Off-market, it's actually harder to judge because Zillow doesn't have fresh listing condition details. Remember I said Zillow they pull everything from the MLS. So if it's off-market, it does not have those details that it's pulling from the MLS. Now here's my favorite analogy that I heard one time, that the Zestimate's actually like your phone GPS. Gets you close fast. It's not a surveyor's map. And if the road changed yesterday, it can still send you into a lake. Is it useless? No, it's a starting point, like checking the weather app before you walk outside. But when I personally price a home, some of the things that I look at, if I price a home or I'm trying to guide, I do comparable analysis, CMAs. I do those for a buyer before they're buying a house to make sure it's priced right and to know what we're gonna, and I do it for a seller, of course, when we're listing a home. And I'm betting your money not on an algorithm because I'm stacking so many things. It takes me anywhere from 45 minutes to an hour to do a proper CMA. What I'm stacking is real comparable sales, and I'm looking at houses, I'm looking at the pictures, I'm checking to see on houses that close just how much these houses are alike, whether they have crown molding, whether they have wainscot, whether they have chair molding, whether they have baseboards, whether they have granite countertops, whether the kitchen's been redone, does it have a sunroom, is it air conditioned, is it heated? So many different things I'm looking at just in the pictures. I'm looking at the neighborhood momentum. I'm looking at the conditions and the upgrades that you've done in that house. How old's the HVAC? How old's the roof? What's happening this week in real estate? Where's it, in that particular neighborhood, it may be different neighborhood that's 5 miles away. And what's the buyer demand like? Is it a seller's market? Is it a buyer's market? Is it a balanced market? And that's why there's so many things. Every appraiser is a little bit different too. Line up 10 of them and they will probably give you 10 different estimates, but it's going to be in a good range. So what I do is I give my clients a range, not a magic number, because pricing is not a math class. It's a negotiation. I do not sell homes. I negotiate and navigate as far as the homes and the process, and I make it less stressful in what I do, and I give you my expertise as a real estate agent to help you out. Now, I've seen Zestimates that are really creepy accurate, and I've seen them be like, this home's worth $487,000, and then you click the photos and it looks like the kitchen fought a war and lost. I mean, the thing's not even worth $250 or $300. And I do these for a lot of different people. If you want, I'll do a screen share Zoom call with you and I'll show you how I run these comps the real way. No pressure, just clarity. Check the link in the description. I'll gladly do it. And then once I've ran my analysis, I'm pulling from information everywhere. I compare them against the Zestimate, against the homes, against the realtor. Our MLS has their own comparables that they pull, and I look at the RVM. Their algorithm is as close to anything that I've seen. and I use RPR to do my estimates and give reports and stuff. They give them up to as much as 45 and 50 page reports where it's showing everything in your area, your zip code, and it just gives you a little bit of idea if you like that kind of detail. Give me a call, jump on Zoom, and I'll be glad to share all these details with you even further. Now, when I first got into real estate, I was on a team. I was on the JT Livingston team right here in Columbia. JT would pay for leads through Zillow. This is a way Zillow makes money. They make a good bit of money selling their leads. One of the reasons I like Homes is because I am a member at homes.com. I am the one that my phone number shows up with the listings. So if you have questions, you can call me directly. With Zillow, they're selling all those buyer leads that come in. They have all kinds of flex plans where you buy a zip code and you get all these leads coming in. When we were using Zillow and I was a premier agent with our team, I would get calls all the time for people that wanted to know what pre-foreclosures are. Pre-foreclosures are not houses for sale. I'm going to tell you what they are right now. It is basically a public distress signal. It's not an invitation to come check it out. Majority of the time, there's people still living in these houses. All it is, anytime you're starting, if you're even late on 1 to 2 payments, it's up for public knowledge. Zillow gets all of that and they say, oh, they're in pre-foreclosure. Well, they may pay the thing off next week and catch up, and they're not in pre-foreclosure. I've seen pre-foreclosures on the market for 2 to 3 years, and there's somebody living in them. They have not paid their rent. They have not paid their payments with the bank, and the bank does not want to foreclose on you. They will take those and they will go with those pre-foreclosures, and they'll try to make a deal with the person and help them catch up on their payments so they can keep going. What does that mean for normal humans? For anything that you see a pre-foreclosure, you cannot just roll up, peek in windows, wander the backyard, and go see it. You can be caught for trespassing. You are on somebody else's property. They still own the house. Just because you saw a pre-foreclosure deal that you thought was a great deal on Zillow, that's somebody's house, and most of the time they still live there. Foreclosure timelines do vary, and that's what I was talking about. They can be there for 2 or 3 years. They could just be on there for a month. You never can know. And there's no knowledge about it. Until you see foreclosure, quit asking your agents about pre-foreclosures. There's no way to make a deal on those. If you truly want a distressed property strategy, do it the right way. Verify public records, understand the timeline, talk to a professional about it, and do zero weird behavior. Don't go to people's houses, because I'd like you to get a good deal, not a trespassing charge. They even have state auctions that you can go. I do not do those a lot of times. Most of the time when you go to those auctions, you get beat out by investors just doing cash deals. You can finance on those, but most of the time you do get beat out by them. Now, have you ever clicked on a pre-foreclosure thinking you found a secret deal? I did it before I ever even got into real estate, and I didn't even know what it was myself. And nobody, when I first got in 8 years ago, nobody could tell me what it was. This is basically all it is. Now let's talk about as-is home sales. So when you see as-is, it basically means the seller's saying, I'm not fixing anything. And it's priced accordingly. And I may not even get it at what I priced at, but I'll take lower. Now, that can be a great opportunity for someone. There's less competition because buyers do get scared of those as-is ones. Potentially, there's a better price, and you renovate it your way, the way you want to do it. Now, I have lenders that do renovation loans. And a lot of people, it's a great process. You basically go, you see what the house is, you buy the house, but it takes more than a month now. It takes a lot of times 2 months, even more, 1.5 months, 2 months at least, because you have to get all kinds of estimates approved by the lender, all the renovations that you want to do, and they're basing it on the price of what it's going to be when it's done. Now, it can be a great thing, it can be a bad thing. I've got 2 or 3 lenders that do renovation loans, and they do it right. And you can even live in it while they're doing those renovation loans. Here's the reality. As is does not magically remove disclosure rules. and it does not magically make a lender ignore safety issues. There's a lot of as-is homes that you can't do FHA or VA. They just won't qualify because they need renovations. But there are, again, there's FHA renovation loans that you can do. You don't have to put down except 3.5% on those FHA ones. So there are deals to be had out there. So my rule is, even in an as-is deal, you've got to have an inspection. I have had inspections, and if it's something major, we will still work out a deal. If it looks good on the outside, go to my video I did, How to Spot a Home in 60 Seconds. On that video, I tell you what to look for as what a real estate agent looks for when he's walking through a house. So you can know exactly what to look for when you go in. Because an as-is house can be a bargain, or it can be a very expensive surprise with granite countertops. Even on as-is homes, you still want to do an inspection to see exactly what's behind a lot of that. You have, here in South Carolina, you have 10 business days that you can get out of it if something like that pops up. Still get your earnest money back, or you can renegotiate. Either way. Now, if you're considering an as-is home here in Columbia or anywhere around here, give me a call first. I'll tell you if it's a good project or if it's a run as fast as you can project, because many of them are like that, but they can be priced accordingly. Now, quick recap, guys. Zillow is the biggest attention magnet in real estate, so we use it, but we don't worship it. Zillow's 2026 affordability forecast is basically small wins built on some assumptions, and some of them are pretty good assumptions, especially that big down payment assumption. That's the one that's not as good. Zestimates are a starting point. It's not a pricing strategy, and many times it can be very, very wrong. Pre-foreclosures are not for sale listings. Treat them like what they are, a public record flag that could go to foreclosure later. And as is, it's not scary, it's just a strategy if you know what you're doing. I've seen many as-is homes out there that are great homes. Matter of fact, I just put an offer on one that was as-is, and it was an incredible home, and my clients love it. If you want to help buying or selling right here in Columbia, South Carolina, in the Midlands, hit me up. If you're anywhere else in the country, I can plug you into an incredible agent referral network. If I don't know anybody in that area, I interview all the way up to 10 to 15 different agents to find you the best agent that is there, not just the first one that it comes. Remember, 80% of people go with the first agent they talk to. Well, a house is a decision that you're putting probably the highest amount of money that you will spend in your life on one single thing. Don't go with just the first agent you talk to. And if you like face-to-face, I love hopping on Zoom, sharing my screen and showing exactly how I run comps, how I build a price range, and the formulas that I use in real estate for every different type of client that there is out there, from buyers to sellers. So if you like this type of information, please give me a thumbs up, like the video, subscribe to my channel. Listen, drop me a comment. I love hearing Zestimate stories. What's the weirdest Zestimate you've ever seen? And until then, I'll see you in the next video.